One of the more interesting things that I think is maybe needs to be talked about more in maybe a better fashion that's a little bit more accessible is that a lot of practitioners don't look after themselves.
Mm.
And you can,
That's crazy, isn't it?
you know, it's
I just
ridiculous.
don't understand.
So here, let me context this, right? I know some doctors, for example, who will see 22 people a day for 5 days.
Wow.
So 110 people's separate sets of problems a week, constantly for years. And then they'll wake up one day and go, oh, I'm not very healthy either. And the problem is that as soon as they've had that realization, they then kind of go, well, I've got 15 minutes before I see another 10 people's problems.
Yeah, yeah.
And slowly but surely it gets pushed away. And where I'm going with this is that a lot of practitioners don't actually look after themselves. And I think this podcast is a call to action for a lot of practitioners who are getting swept up in helping people and doing a great job doing that, but putting themselves often fifth or sixth. Yeah. And I think if you are one of those practitioners who isn't putting yourself first, then you must understand at some stage things are going to change. But it may also affect your ability to help people as well.
There it is.
Right?
And I apologise for jumping in and saying that's crazy. Who am I to say that?
No. It sounds crazy.
Yeah, it does. My role is to help people, but if I want to help as many people, then what I'm going to do, I'm going to put more energy into helping people and sacrifice my own health.
Yeah.
Which in the mid to long term means I won't be able to help as many people if that's what drives you. Actually, sort of comes back to, remember I said periodization. If we condense periodization, because it makes a lot of sense for all of this conversation. Periodization at its most basic is energy management 101. It's how much stress is anything that takes energy away from you. So how much stress to how much recovery, that's when I get energy back into my body. So periodization is the equation between how much stress work to how much recovery does my body need in order to maximize growth and minimize burnout, injury. So if I'm another way of thinking of periodization in my world, in athletic development, for example, is planning my training to be the best that I can be on a given date. Where you and I, we've got a boxing match in 3 months' time. I'm going to plan your training so you peak, and it's been done 1,000 times, so I can rely on science and my own anecdotal evidence to know that I can do a pretty good job of that. So that's managing your energy to get to a certain goal. We also think of that, so that might be 3 months, so let's call that a long-term plan. So that's the macro scale. And then you can say, well, we can break that down into meso, the short term. How are you going to manage your energy in each of those months leading up to that 3-month goal? And then there's a micro cycle as well, which is how do you manage your energy every day or in that 1-2 hour training session. So now we can walk away and go, well, periodization is simply energy management, and I want to manage my energy. Energy is my capacity to do work. We already spoke about that. If I manage my energy well, I can get more work done. I can be more effective. If I don't manage my energy well, what happens? I'll decrease or increase the likelihood, of burnout. And that doesn't mean athlete. I'm talking to the practitioner right now.
Yeah.
It's still periodization. When I work with corporates and I go and talk to, see that big building over there, the ICC, and I went over and I talked to corporates in there, like 80 heads of department from 12 countries and, all these cities that I'll go in. And I go in, I'm a keynote speaker, telling dudes who are at the top of the game in finance how to manage their energy. Because why is it important? Because energy is your capacity to do work. So it's not, we think of it, periodization, it's such a profound tool that we can use, because if I can manage my energy, I can get better, not just stronger, but if I manage my energy, if you study 24 hours, what's going to happen at the end of that 24? You don't take any breaks. How effective are you going to be after an hour and a half, probably 2 hours? Not very effective, but keep doing it. And you keep pushing. It's going to come at a cost. It's excessive stress. It's going to lead to breakdown. It's going to lead to mistakes are going to happen. So we understand the cycles of the body, the cycles that we work in, the ultradian rhythm, circadian rhythm. We understand that. We've got a pretty good handle on those. Of course, there's subtle differences between you and me and Trevor. You know what I mean? And we have chance to be better at that. But understanding what we know about science and physiology, using research of circadian rhythms and nutrition and recovery and expending energy and hormesis even, the act of something that is a little bit bad for you in the right context, as long as you support yourself with enough recovery and nutrition, will be good for you. So that's periodization. You know what I mean? And we've taken this concept from the world of, it was first put forward by this guy, Flavius Philostratus, who wrote this book, Ancient Greece.
Please tell me that's his real name.
That's his real name. Flavius Philostratus. Look it up. He wrote, I think the book was called El Gymnastica, but a training manual for the athletes of the ancient Greek Olympics.
Wow.
What a genius. Back then, he was like, hang on, guys. We need to manage our energy. I'm paraphrasing. He probably didn't have an Australian accent. Probably didn't even speak English. Anyway, but to that tune, if you understand these principles of periodization, and I do because I love it and I've studied it, what am I doing speaking to 80 heads of department of a bank over there at the ICC? Because I understand energy management better than all of you guys. You understand, I always, whenever I give a presentation or I work with clients, I always say, hey, total transparency, I'm just a dude with my faults and problems, my passion and my areas of expertise. I'm assuming that you've got your faults and problems, but you've also got your passion, your areas of expertise. All we're doing, we're just getting together to create a power team. This is meta learning. I know something about this small thing about performance that I know better than you. You know so much more about finance and all this other stuff that I wish I knew. I'm just going to share with you guys wholeheartedly what I'm passionate and what I know about. And that seems to be of value. But really, it's just energy management 101. There's ways that we can get better at that, of course, and there's ways that understanding I'm meaningfully connected to, as are high performers, as are people who want to get better. Energy is my capacity to do work. It's my capacity to recover. If you've got low energy, what does that mean? You just said chronic fatigue. If I've overdone it, seeing 22 clients a day for 7 years, meaning my period, I've put a lot of energy out there. How much of those people recovered? Not much Monday to Friday if they're seeing 22 clients a day. No wonder. Their adrenal glands are like, oh, man, not again. Come on, man, let's have a rest. So that can be, we can take it for 5 years maybe. I don't know, pick a number. Everyone's different. At a certain point when you said we're going to wake up, go, oh, my God, I feel terrible today. It must have been something I did yesterday. No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
Just as performance is cumulative, disease, ill health, mostly is cumulative as well.
It's a case of almost death by 1,000 cuts as well, isn't
100%.
it? And it's funny because I think I've often changed that quote. So it's death by 1,000 shortcuts, because a lot of the time you need to take those shortcuts, and to your point, when you're not replenishing that energy properly. Now,